Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Charlotte Motor Speedway. I'm Aaron Johnson with the Johnson iRacing Network, bringing you today's feature race, a 20-lap event for the iRacing Fanatec Rookie Street Stock Series. Let's have a look at the starting grid. Starting in the 16th spot in car number 14, that's Jason Kitts. Jason racing out of the Great Plains region. He will not start with the field today as he did not make the starting grid in time. Jason will start from the pits. Starting in the 15th spot in car number 2, racing out of France, that's Sebastian Miro. Sebastian in the Monster Energy Hoonigans Camaro. Starting in the 14th spot in car number 7, racing out of Indiana, that's Xander Howell in the Dirty Mo Chevrolet. That's the 7 Exalta car. Starting in the 13th spot in car number 12, racing out of Scandinavia, the race spot Camaro of Ted Lindgren. Starting in the 12th spot in car number 1, that's Alberto Baraghi out of Scarnafigi, Italy. Alberto competing with us from across the pond. Starting in the 11th spot in car number 15, racing out of Finland, that's Ilmari Yatalo. Ilmari also from across the pond, an international field here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Starting in the 10th spot in car number 4, that's Sergio Vila in the Rusty's Lightning McQueen tribute, Sergio from Iberia. Starting in the 9th spot in car number 5, that is Anthony Diorio, Anthony racing out of Canada. Starting in the 8th spot in car number 11, that's the Miller High Life Chevrolet of Scott McCoy. Scott racing out of New England. In the 7th starting spot in car number 6, that is Cedric Lott. Cedric from the Germany, Austria, Switzerland region. In the 6th starting spot in car number 13, that's Pedro Pedal from Iberia. Pedro, another international competitor. Starting 5th in car number 8, he races out of the Belgium, the Netherlands, and Luxembourg, the Benelux countries. That's Chris Dielan. In the 4th starting spot in car number 9, it's the University of Missouri Chevrolet of Jake Johnson. Jake out of Conifer, Colorado. Starting in the 3rd spot in car number 16, that is Nicholas Wilson racing out of New York. On the front row outside in car number 10, that is Gavin Atarski in the Jeg Chevrolet. Gavin racing out of the Virginias. And on the pole in car number 3, that is Perry Brecker, the Dale Jr. Foundation Chevrolet. Perry racing out of New England. A truly international field today, as 8 countries are represented, including the United States, along with 5 different states or regions of the USA. This field diverse in its geographic location, mostly Europeans and Americans, as we're going to take on 20 quick laps at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The pace car leads the field out of turn number 4. The lights are off. Pace car's in. The Perry Brecker hammers the throttle. The race is underway, and it's going to be Perry Brecker that leads the field to the line as we begin lap number 1 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Brecker out front, followed by the 16 of Nicholas Wilson, then the 10 of Atarski, the 9 of Johnson, and the 8 of Chris Dielan. Dielan looked to be making a move to try to get by the 9 of Johnson. Let's see if he was able to. It looks like he was. So Chris Dielan's going to make a move past the 9 of Jake Johnson, drop Johnson back to the 5th spot. Behind them, it's the 6 of Cedric Lott up front. It is still the 3 of Perry Brecker. The 10 of Atarski looks to the inside of Nick Wilson in the 16. It's going to be Brecker, Atarski, Wilson, then the 8. As the 16 and the 8 get together, the 16 of Wilson bounces off the wall. That's going to take those 2 cars out. The lead still Perry Brecker. Behind him, Gavin Atarski, then Jake Johnson in the 9. Johnson close enough to be able to maybe close in on the leaders. Let's ride along with the 10. That's Atarski. Maybe that'll give us a look at Johnson and the 3 of Perry Brecker. Jake Johnson closing in. He's in 3rd. Behind them, it's the 8. Is that the 8? Looks like the 8. No, Chris Dielan is out. That must have been the 6 of Cedric Lott we were seeing there in the 4th position. Then in 5th, the 13 of Pedro Pedal. As the 6 and 13 get together, that's going to take Lott and Pedal out of competition. It's going to leave the 3, 10, and 9, Brecker, Atarski, Johnson running 1, 2, 3. The 5 of Anthony Diorio takes a little advantage there, moves up into the top 5. He's in 4th with Ilmari Yatalo running in 5th. Behind them, it's McCoy, Pedal, Lott, Vila, and Wilson rounding out the top 10. Xander Howell Sebastian Miro, Ted Lindgren, and Alberto Biraghi all in the pits. Johnson looks to the inside of the 10 of Gavin Atarski. Atarski gets a little bit loose. Johnson backs off as Atarski manages to gather it back up. Coming out of turn number 4 onto the front straightaway, we complete lap number 3. It is still car number 3. Perry Brecker with the lead. Let's ride along with Brecker. Close in just a little bit and see what it looks like from Brecker's vantage point running out front. Brecker comes out of turn 2 down the front straightaway. Use that wheel cam and take a look and see what it looks like to ride in these race cars. This from the nose of Perry Brecker's car. Brecker leads as he comes through turn 3. Now the sun a little bit blinding, out of 3 into 4 now onto the front straightaway. Perry Brecker leads, followed by Atarski, Johnson, and Diorio. Those the top 4 cars, with Elmari Italo running in 5th, McCoy 6th, Pedro Pedal 7th. Those 7 forming a pack. Review back from Perry Brecker to Johnson as we see Johnson has passed Gavin Atarski. Johnson working on Brecker. Atarski behind Johnson. Behind them we can see the 11, the 15 of Yatalo, the 11 of McCoy, and the 5 of Anthony Diorio. Johnson closing right onto the back bumper of Perry Brecker. Brecker slides up just a little high. Johnson closes in. Brecker closing in on some lap traffic. Will ride along in the cockpit with Perry Brecker as Brecker closes in on lap traffic. Down into turn number 1, you can see the banking here at Charlotte. Brecker closing in on some lap cars. Johnson 2nd, Gavin Atarski 3rd. Let's hop back out and watch this race as Johnson is making a move on the 3 of Perry Brecker. Johnson trying to take the lead. He's on the inside line. Brecker on the outside as they go turning into turn number 3. Johnson's going to make the pass, it looks like. Can he hold Brecker off through the center of the corner? Brecker slides down in behind Johnson. It's Johnson 1, Brecker 2, Atarski 3. Brecker looking to the outside again. At the line, it'll be Jake Johnson. Johnson leads lap number 6. We start lap 7 in a 20-lap race at Charlotte. Johnson leads the field through the center of 1 and 2. Now out of 2 onto the back straightaway. Jake Johnson with the lead. Brecker looks to the inside. He's got a fender underneath Jake Johnson. The 2 cars touch. Johnson drives Brecker down underneath the line. Just misses the back end of Johnson's car. Don't know if the 2 cars got together, but the 11 of Scott McCoy, the victim, as the 3 ends up upside down in the middle of 1 and 2. Or sorry, in the middle of 3 and 4. Back out front, Jake Johnson drops to 3rd as the 10 of Gavin Atarski is going to take over the lead after that incident between Johnson and the 3 of Perry Brecker out front. It's the 10 of Atarski behind Atarski. We've got the 15 of Ilmari Yatalo behind Italo. It's the 9 of Johnson, then the 5 of Anthony Diorio. Diorio running 4th behind Diorio. That's the 13 of Pedro Pedal. Pedal shown in the 5th spot. Behind Pedal, that's the 2 of Sebastian Miro. Miro currently in 12th. 1 lap down. Behind Miro, that's the 4 of Sergio Vila. Vila also a lap down after some early contact. Behind Vila, that's the 16 of Nicholas Wilson. Wilson running in the 6th spot after that early incident where he was battling up front. Behind Wilson, that is the 8 car of Chris Dealon. Dealon in 7th, also showing some damage on the right front. Dealon involved in an early incident, but still on the lead lap. Behind Dealon is the 6 of Cedric Lott. Lott, the last car on the lead lap. Behind Lott, that's the 1 of Alberto Biraghi. Alberto involved in an early accident as well. He's shown 2 laps down in 14th. Behind Biraghi is the 7 of Xander Howell. Howell 1 lap down, currently running in the 12th spot. Behind Howell, we're back to the leader. Now the 10 of Gavin Atarski, as we've got a 4-car battle for the lead. Atarski, Yatalo, Johnson, and Diorio, the top 4 cars, running two wide down the back straightaway. They come into turn number 3. It's the 15 of Yatalo with the lead. The 10 looks to the inside. He gets a fender under, almost takes the 15's back bumper. That was a little dangerous between the 10 of Atarski and the 15 of Ilmari Yatalo. Jake Johnson running in 3rd. He looks to the inside of Anthony Diorio. Sorry, running in 4th. Looks to the inside of Anthony Diorio, trying to make his way into the 3rd spot. The 15 of Ilmari Yatalo slides up. Yatalo and the 10 get together. Those 2 cars bounce off the inside wall. Looks like that's going to give the lead to the 5 of Anthony Diorio. Diorio now up front at the halfway point. It's going to be Anthony Diorio first, Jake Johnson second. Pedro Pedal will be third as Ilmari Yatalo and Gavin Otarski both bounce off the inside wall coming down the back straightaway. The back straightaway having been a little treacherous today, it was also where Jake Johnson and the 3 of Perry Brecker managed to get together. Diorio with about a 6/10 of a second lead over Jake Johnson. Johnson going to have to utilize that draft to chase Diorio down. Anthony Diorio with the lead, Jake Johnson second, Pedro Pedal third. Otarski being shown in the 4th spot with Ilmari Yatalo running in 5th. Behind them, Nicholas Wilson in the 16 car is 6th, Chris Dielan 7th, Cedric Lott in 8th, the last car on the lead lap. Sebastian Miro runs 9th, and Sergio Vila rounds out the top 10. Miro and Vila both 1 lap down. Johnson trying to use the draft. He is closing on the 5 of Anthony Diorio. Diorio racing with us out of Canada. Anthony Diorio doing a nice job today in this Fanatec Street Stock Series feature. Johnson looks to the inside as they come into turn number 3. Jake Johnson trying to make his way past the 5 of Anthony Diorio. Johnson has position. Will he be able to hold Diorio off as they come through 3 and 4? Looks like Jake Johnson's going to hold the lead. They come out of 4. Diorio looks to make a move on the outside. A little internet lag creating some trouble there. And at the line, it'll be Jake Johnson with the lead. 7 laps to go this time by. Jake Johnson running out front, followed by Anthony Diorio. Those 2 cars with about an 8-second advantage over the 3rd place car of Pedro Pedal. Behind Pedal, it's Ilmari Yatalo. Looks like the 10 of Gavin Otarski suffered some sort of mechanical failure. Otarski slow on the inside. And Johnson and Diorio closing on lap traffic. Hard to tell who that was up front. Bright red car could have been the 7 of Howell, also could have maybe been the 6 of Cedric Lott. Lott would be the last car on the lead lap, 28 seconds behind. The typical lap here is about 37 seconds, maybe 38. I think whatever car that was that we could see is a little less than 10 seconds ahead. That looks like it's probably the 7 of Xander Howell. There are 6 laps to go. Johnson running first, the 5 of Anthony Diorio in the 2nd spot. Diorio looks to the outside. We'll zoom in just a little bit. Jake Johnson trying to hold off Anthony Diorio. It's Johnson 1, Diorio 2. They come 2 through the tri-oval and to the start-finish line. At the line is Jake Johnson by 0.07 of a second. Diorio on the outside, Johnson on the inside. Johnson trying to keep that Mizzou car glued to the blue line. Johnson on the inside, Diorio on the outside as they come out of turn 2 onto the back straightaway. Anthony Diorio with a great run. He's going to pull Jake Johnson down the back straightaway as they come into turn number 3. Johnson on the inside, Diorio on the outside. Johnson gets into the corner. A nice smooth ride through the center of 3 and 4. Johnson slides up just a little bit. Diorio tries to give Johnson room. Diorio bounces off the wall there. Got some damage to the right front of that 5 car. Jake Johnson slipped up just a little bit. Diorio reacted, tried to give Johnson some room, and it looks like Diorio has brushed the outside wall. You know, the new damage model in iRacing, these cars in the past have been fairly bulletproof, but a hit like that is going to create some problems for the 5 of Anthony Diorio. We'll see if Diorio is going to have enough race car to hold the draft and stay in contact with the 9 of Jake Johnson. 4 laps to go. Johnson out of turn 4 onto the front straightaway. They'll come by the start-finish line this time. 3 laps to go. Johnson closing on the 7 of Xander Howell. That little bit of a draft that he may be able to pull from the 7 car will make it more difficult for Anthony Diorio to be able to catch Jake Johnson and try to make a race of it. Diorio now has dropped a half a second behind as Jake Johnson has picked up the draft of the 7 car. 3 laps to go. Johnson down the back straightaway. They come into turn number 3. Jake Johnson closing on the lapped car. That's the 7 of Xander Howell. Howell shown 1 lap down in 11th. Johnson to the lead. He continues to stretch the lead over the 5 of Anthony Diorio. Diorio now 0.6 of a second back, in danger of losing the draft. Jake Johnson picking up the draft of that 7 car, making it a double whammy for Anthony Diorio. Johnson content right now to use the draft of the 7 to try to hold off the 5 of Anthony Diorio. Diorio now has dropped to almost 0.9 of a second back and you start to really lose the draft here around 9/10 of a second to 1 second back. Diorio now 1 second back. Looks as though Diorio's lost the draft. Johnson looks to the inside of the 7. The 7 turns down, nearly crashes the 9. I don't know if the 7 got loose or if he was attempting to block. Johnson to the outside, the 7 in front. Johnson at the start-finish line. There's 1 lap to go. Jake Johnson looks to the outside of the lapped car. That's the 7 of Xander Howell. Johnson now turns underneath. Howell slips up. The car wiggling slightly. Johnson out of turn number 2 onto the back straightaway. Takes a look to the inside. Jake Johnson, the 7 goes down to block. Johnson goes high. Now the 7 goes high to block. Terrible sportsmanship. Some of the worst sportsmanship I've ever seen from a lapped car. Jake Johnson with position, the 7 all over the racetrack. It's a wonder he didn't crash both drivers. Absolutely unbelievable, the type of ridiculously poor sportsmanship being shown by Xander Howell. Xander Howell, a terrible sport, 2 laps down, no way he's going to win the race, nearly wrecks the leader trying to block the leader for absolutely no reason. Jake Johnson with the win. Anthony Diorio comes in second. Pedro Pedal will finish third with Imari Yatalo fourth, and Chris Dielan rounding out the top 5. Behind them, it'll be Nicholas Wilson in 6th, Cedric Lott 7th, Sergio Vila 8th, Sebastian Miro 9th, and Scott McCoy rounding out the top 10. That will do it from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Jake Johnson takes home the win despite serious and unnecessary blocking from a car that was 2 laps down. Johnson with position, the 7 car all over the racetrack. It is a rookie series, and rookies have to learn. Thankfully, nobody learned a lesson the hard way at the end of that race. For the Johnson iRacing Network, this is Aaron Johnson saying, go fast, turn left, have fun.